There it is, you guys. 4 new cards coming to Clash Royale. Let's not waste any time. Let's get a closer look at all 4, and then we will get into some gameplay of my personal favorite of all 4, the Executioner. Alright, so first up, the Goblin Gang. Check it out. It's Stabby Goblins, it's Spear Goblins mixed together. Another big group card, much like the Minion Horde or the Skeleton Army. This time, you get 6 Goblins for the price of just 3 Elixir. This is going to be crazy because you've got 3 that do air damage with their spears, range damage, and then 3 others that spawn in front that have those little daggers. Next up, speaking of goblins, we've got a Dart Goblin. This guy's crazy. He is so fast, and his firing speed, super fast. He's almost like an archer tower on wheels. Long range, fast guy, not a lot of hit points, but definitely another tool for dealing with smaller individual units. Dart Goblin, very cool and a very unique graphic as well. And the next new card, the Battle Ram. Check it out. This guy, very cool as well. Building on that whole charge idea behind the Prince and the Dark Prince, the Barbarians carrying the Battle Ram will charge the tower or building they're going after, but it's double duty. After the Battle Ram is gone, after it is destroyed either against a building or by opposing units, then there's 2 barbs left over and they go to town. So 4 Elixir seems like another great value card. Love to see the new and different functions. Like I've been saying over and over again, you guys, this is what I wanted to see. Completely unique cards, unique ideas and graphics coming to the game. And talk about unique. The Executioner, seriously, love this guy's leather cowl. He just looks evil and strange and exciting all at once. And it gets better because not only is he unique, but check it out. The most unique weapon in the game. He's got a boomerang. That's right. From down under, maybe. I don't know. The Executioner brings a boomerang, and I love it. So cool the way this works. It's going to be great for controlling minions, minion hordes, skeleton armies, any sort of goblins. And, I mean, right here, you guys might notice, you're seeing new cards like the Goblins and then a counter to them right here in the Executioner. So very exciting cards. And as we go through some of these battles, just think about where these different cards would have come in handy. Again, though, I keep finding myself going back to the Executioner. I'm going to show some gameplay of him. It's around 9 minutes into the video. If you want to skip ahead, I won't be offended. Otherwise, we are going to get into a couple of close battles from my Full Attack clan brothers. And oftentimes, you can take a look at battles like this and think about if you had the Executioner, how well he would do. Think about him in behind a Royal Giant. Think about him defending against a Graveyard. That's a card that I've had a little trouble defending because obviously they can take out with arrows, with zap, immediately any sort of counter to the Graveyard, but not with the Executioner. He is going to be a little bit more tanky, albeit very slow in movement. Okay, very slow. He feels very slow. You'll see in a moment when we look at the gameplay. It says medium, but he feels slow to me. Again, this is the exact card we need to counter things like the Graveyard without worrying about losing the entire counter to one quick zap spell, which is what happens so often when you drop the Skeleton Army or arrows or lightning or fireball, anything like that. Now you've got the Executioner, just one more big strong counter. And I really love the fact that he will attack air and ground units. That is going to make him so versatile. 5 Elixir, pretty expensive, and right now he seems really like a focused on defense type of card, but you could walk him in, say behind a Royal Giant, behind a regular Giant, maybe not behind a faster card like a Mini P.E.K.K.A. or a Hog Rider, but then again, maybe I have no idea. It's again up to you guys to show me the strategies, show me the money, show me what you've got in store for the Executioner once he is released. Definitely my favorite out of all 4 of the brand new cards. And if you take a close look at this battle, you can see just the sheer numbers of small units both of these guys are deploying. The Executioner, a perfect counter to keep the meta from going to pure bait style decks. The decks where you take advantage of baiting out your opponent's fireball or zap or arrows and then throw in another big group of units like the Skeleton Army, like the Graveyard, or even the Goblin Barrel. The Executioner, absolutely ideal for any of these, and this is what I love about Clash Royale as the game continues to add more cards so frequently, you guys. I mean, come on, it's like every 2 weeks non-stop for months now. We're looking at brand new cards all of the time, and it just increases the diversity of the game, makes it tougher to come out with the perfect deck, which actually I really like. A lot of people, they have conspiracy theories. You win a couple, you feel like Supercell has matched you up with the exact counter to your deck, but I really feel like it's more random than conspiracy. Just gonna go out on a limb and say that. And it's exciting though. It's fun. Yes, you are going to run into decks that have the absolute perfect counter cards to what you're trying. Here, Blaze gets in there with the Royal Giant despite the graveyard and grabs the 2-1 overtime win. And this is just another sneak peek, you guys. Get ready. More stuff is coming, no doubt, and I will be having more gameplay on all of the cards. Today, just really wanted to focus on the Executioner and see him in battle. Here's another one. Imagine what he's going to do to a Furnace, to those Fire Spirits moving in. Sit back, throw that Boomerang, get those Fire Spirits down a pair at a time. Now this is a recent battle of my own, and this right here is the deck that I've been using most frequently. And yes, I'll tell you right now, the Executioner, not a great card for me to run into with this deck. He's going to wipe out my Princess, annihilate my Skeleton Army, the Minion Horde as well. So a lot of cards like that, and of course the Fire Spirits out of the Furnace. So that right there is probably why you're seeing this Executioner out. Also, remember you guys, we've got balance changes in effect. Let's go over them, starting with the most significant change to the newest card, Elite Barbarians, seeing a huge buff, 19% more hit points, 14% more damage, and a faster hit speed. So maybe now they will become a good value for the amount of elixir they cost, making them much more popular. Also, speaking of new cards, the Tornado sees an increase in the radius of 10% and stronger pulling power. I felt like the Tornado really wasn't that useful, so obviously this change designed to get more people to try it out in their decks. And speaking of, how about the Inferno Dragon? Another legendary card, really underused. Here's a couple of changes. It is going to receive 5% more hit points, and it will retarget faster. I think that's critical for the Inferno Dragon. That 0.4 second faster retargeting time is going to be huge. That is definitely going to make the Inferno Dragon much more effective. And speaking of huge, yes, the Balloon seeing a big buff. Death damage up 105%. More than doubled, and death damage explosion radius, the area of effect when that balloon goes down, is going to be increased by 50% as well. I have a feeling we will be experiencing terror from the skies very, very soon. Next up, the Wizard, seeing a faster hit speed. This doesn't seem like a lot, but it's significantly going to increase his DPS faster by 0.2 seconds. But at the same time, his initial attack decreased by that same amount of time, so he won't be as quick on the draw, but will fire faster once he gets going. Next on the list, Giant Skeleton. We saw this coming. That's one of the least used cards, especially up at Arenas 8 and 9. He now sees an 8% increase in damage done, making him much more potent. The Lumberjack also getting an increase in hit points. He becomes a little more tanky by 6%. The Bomber also severely underused, a 4% damage buff, so maybe that'll be enough to see more Bombers out on the playing field. This one, not so happy about, but you gotta figure if it's not being used, it's going to get a little bit of a buff. Explosion radius of boulders coming from the mortar increased by 11%. And then the last change, this one was announced earlier in the blog post. The mirror will now once again create those max level cards plus one additional level when you have a maxed out mirror. And here we go, without further delay, the Executioner in effect on the left-hand side there. See him throwing that boomerang, not real fast, but check out the damage against large groups of units. Absolute annihilation as the boomerang just cremates everyone in the area. So that's it, you guys. That's all I'm allowed to show you right now, but there is more to come. Thank you guys, as always, for sticking around, subscribing, thumbs up, and be ready. More sneak peeks on the way. Stay subscribed for early update and sneak peek information, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow. for more full attacks.